Julie.
Hold on.
It's really heavy.
Oh, God, it is heavy. But whatever. Yeah.
Julie,
Yeah?
I want you to tell me about my father.
Well, he was approximately 6'3". Mm-hmm. He had hair like flame. He was a woke bae.
He was a woke bae.
He could flick a bean like Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that's very specific.
And he was a weak seaman.
I have a question. Was he great with horse flesh?
He understood horse flesh, yes.
Okay. Could he carry a tune?
Nope.
Yep. So did he speak Latin, French, Gaelic, English, and German?
Probably.
Yes.
He could play chess too, but once again, let me remind you, he was a weak seaman.
But expert bean flicker. Mm-hmm. And then Brianna says, "Hey, Mom, that's too much information." And on that note, I know, I imagine that people who listen think like, does there have to be a bit every time?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I'm Allison.
I'm Julie.
That's Janine.
Hi.
And we are now talking about the back in the day half of episode 213.
The not quite back in the day. Because
like,
back in the day would be Culloden. So
It's
this is
back
like,
in the more recent day.
this is more like fucking Rolling Stones Day.
Yeah. Also, let's say this.
Soundtrack awesome.
Awesome. I don't know if it's Bear McCreary or if a producer chose it all, but whoever picked it, that shit was great. Oh, it made me really excited. It was great. It was maybe the most invested I've been musically in an episode of Outlander ever. It was great.
So we open in the wake, which we already spoke about. But one thing we didn't talk about in the wake is that we find out that Frank is dead.
Yeah. R.I.P. Frank.
R.I.P. Frank.
Must. Oh, we should also say this. If you have been listening to every episode, you know that Bethlock sponsored us from now and from here to eternity. But Janine got a growler of Gamma Ray.
The ginger wheat.
Ginger wheat.
Which we decided to drink in this episode because there are
so many
gingers.
But Janine and I are still drinking Dragonfly IPA from Upland. I will be switching. He will not be because he has to be responsible after this. Julie has already switched to the Gamma Ray.
No, I'm kind of doing both.
Great. Yeah. So that's what we're drinking. So this is basically still Beth, but also Janine. But that means that there's still no company is paying for us to do this, which is great because we're about to swear a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? Fuck you, companies. Come on.
Any companies who are listening to us right now and deciding if you want to sponsor us, ignore that last bit.
Wait, I love you, companies.
So... you know what's not going to come up in this episode? The Pamplemousse.
Nope.
Pamplemousse will not come up.
Rupert will not
come up.
Bonnie Prince Douche will not come up.
Oh, no, he absolutely will.
He comes.
Oh, yeah.
Because of his wax figurine.
Yeah,
because they went to Madame Tussauds. But mostly we're hanging out with Claire looking like Catherine Deneuve and her sweet blowout and her series of amazing trench coats.
And amazing driving gloves.
And her fabulous eye makeup. All right, so when Julie and I watch together, which is usually not what you need, but this week it was, we have a problem where we can't contain ourselves. And I will say already, because you listened to the last episode, I'm assuming, that the episode where we could most not contain ourselves is when Jamie and Claire jointly, like they were arm wrestling with 4 arms, killed Dougal. We all screamed and then held our hands in the air and couldn't function, and then we had to pause, and then we went back to the show. But a lot of the 1968 stuff had a more subdued but similar reaction. Mm-hmm. I knew Brianna and Roger were coming. Julie knew they were because she got spoiled by the internet. Yeah,
but didn't mind because I didn't understand what it was.
Did you have any idea?
I barely knew what I was going to be watching. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So Brianna, obviously Jamie and Claire's daughter that
Beautiful.
Claire was pregnant with when
Sophie
she came back.
Skelton, that's her name.
Came back through the rocks. So we get to see her. She is a history major at Harvard now, so I would assume she's probably like 20 years old, 21, somewhere in that range.
In the book, she's 18. Whoops.
It's fine. Okay, whatever. So she is basically an adult at college.
A young adult. Let's say young adult. Only young adult now means like 15.
Yeah.
So we'll say adult.
So she comes back to Scotland with her mom to go to the wake of Reverend Wakefield, and there she is in the house.
Reverend.
And then she sees Roger, and there's an immediate spark, but she's pushing the brakes. She's not trying to go there. They talk a little bit about the Reverend and how great it is. And then we find out that Brianna is an American.
Yeah. So
Obviously, right?
Brianna was born in Boston. Because remember, Frank was like, hey, step down the weird stairs that people don't use anymore because that's not how planes work unless you're on a tiny plane anymore. Step down these stairs and welcome yourself to the new world. And Claire steps down and then immediately ends up with Jamie. That's not how it happened in real life. In real life, Claire stepped on the stairs and then went to be a professor's wife at Harvard, and then became a surgeon.
Yeah, we find out that Claire is a surgeon.
Claire went through medical school. I'm confident we will learn more about how she got her way through medical school next season, because there's a lot of interesting shit in that. She has a best friend in medical school that she meets who's amazing.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, but
I do love a best friend because that's what I'm cast as all the time.
not all the time. Not when it's me, bitch. Never. What time
Fair.
have I ever cast you as a best friend?
Fair.
It's true.
It's fair.
It's true. That doesn't make sense to anyone who's listening. That's fine. But it's true. Anyway, so
They decide to stay in Scotland for a little bit longer because
they're at the
Roger
funeral,
is hot.
and they're gonna have to drive back, and oh no, they'll have to stop at that pub. And then Roger, both because he's kind and generous human,
And also 'cause he's-
like, if you can't tell from this episode, I'm sorry to spoil this for you, but it just means that you're not particularly adept at following storytelling. Roger stays around for a long time. Roger is a major character from here on out. Roger is around. Mm-hmm. Roger's around. Mm-hmm. So Roger is like, well, you could leave, but you could also stay. And so then they stay.
And then the guest room is at the top of the stairs.
And then here's our Neil quote for the week. We were going to record it, and then we forgot because then we had a D&D game. But here's what Neil said. They may have changed it. Just saying.
in 40 years, maybe the guest room's somewhere else.
They may have changed it.
Nope, it's the same.
Just saying.
It's the same.
It's the same room.
It was
so,
very presumptuous. I will say that too.
yeah.
it was a lovely guest room. So Brianna and Claire decide they're just going to stay in Scotland. They come to, well, Claire comes to mourn the Reverend. Brianna comes because she's with her mom on vacation. I'm really sorry, Brianna.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
like,
a shitty
Claire is
vacation.
an awesome lady. And if you were going to have a mom take you on vacation, you could do a lot worse.
But it's very clear that there is tension between Brianna and Claire.
And then also we know that Frank is now dead and that Brianna believes that her father is Frank Randall, which anyone watching the show knows that's not true because she just fucking looks like someone took Sam Huon and Katrina Bama and smushed them together like silly putty and then did some like and then they ended up with Sophie Skelton.
So we were watching this episode, and about halfway in, I said out loud, "Is she British?"
I was really hoping she wasn't going to say so.
And Allison was like, yeah. And I was like, you know what? She is doing a really, really fucking good job, but I can tell she is not American. I can tell. And I wondered, was there not an American actress that they could have
I'm guessing
found?
that's financial. Stars
She
is not the
looked
biggest.
perfect.
She did. And Stars is not the biggest cable company in the world. I'm guessing it was more affordable for them to hire an actress who they didn't have to then pay to fly internationally.
Fucking Roger, is he actually Scottish?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Because
Also, he's a
That's very
stone cold fox.
that was a luck draw there. It was just like a Sam Hewen draw. It was
Yeah.
just like a
That's
I
so.
think-
Here's
I
an
think they could have
anecdote.
found that woman in America.
Yeah,
but
fuck
whatever.
yeah. But except for, I'm guessing that was not, like a hey, why don't we go do a casting call in America? I'm guessing it was practical.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she was wonderful.
She did a good job. She was slightly
I mean,
outclassed.
It took
She
you
was
like
slightly
40
outclassed
minutes.
by Roger. She was slightly
She was,
outclassed by Roger.
But it took you like 40 minutes to ask if she was British.
But it was because she said something, and I was like, wait a
I'll
minute.
just throw a voice of dissent out there. I thought she was not good.
Oh,
Janine.
Janine! I
Does
thought
not
she
like
was
when-
good.
I'm so sorry. And it might be because of
No, you have your own opinion.
the accent was so bad. And like
I didn't think.
I
the
didn't
accent
think it was
bad.
so bad. I thought it was enough to notice.
And it might actually be, as I think about it, it might actually be editing issues because there were moments where the pauses were too long and these things, and like she was just not effective to me.
You know what I'll say? Here's the thing that I will say. And we, someday down the line, after we've done more things, so it makes sense to talk about shit that you guys don't know yet. We should talk about the differences between the books and the show.
Sure.
But all of that shit, the way that Brianna finds out, I mean, it couldn't be more different.
Mm-hmm.
Claire, I understand why they did it because I'm not sure it would be sympathetic on television, A. B, it would be hard to convey in 90 minutes. And C, it would require a completely different location. But the way it happens in the book is that Claire decides that, because Frank, this is true of both the book and the show, Frank makes her promise that she will not tell Brianna that her father is someone else until after he's died.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank does send a letter to the Reverend about Jamie separately before he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are both true. But the way that Claire finds out, first, the way that she finds out that he's dead in a different circumstance is that they go to visit a graveyard to see Blackjack Randall's grave. And there's a grave near it that says Jamie, Malcolm, Alexander Mackenzie Fraser, whatever, beloved husband of Claire. And she loses
What?
her goddamn mind. And that's how it all comes out because she can't contain herself because she sees it, and that's how she ends up telling them.
What an interesting change.
That's
Yeah.
completely different.
Yes. So it's not all the stuff they find out.
I am agog with surprise.
So all the things that they do, all the digging through the attic and the rat satire, which, by the way,
That is awesome.
that was so
What is the
good.
actor's name?
His name is his name is Richard Rankin.
Okay, that's right.
He was so
gonna
good.
write that down right here.
He was good through the whole episode, but that rat satire, that pushed it right over the edge.
Well, that just
That
made
shit
him.
was delightful.
That made him cute as fuck.
Also right from the books.
Yeah.
So, all that stuff happens. All the things they do happen, but
Wait, we have to go back. So we find out at the beginning when Claire first goes to say to him, like, this was my friend, blah, blah, blah. We find out that Roger was a Mackenzie.
he was adopted.
Yeah. So we see that, and that is fucking crazy. That's also when we find out that Brianna is a history major at Harvard.
And Roger is a professor at Oxford.
And that's also impressive.
Also, hey, in the books,
I'm
he
just
teaches
saying-
at Balliol College, which is where I went about it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But like Brianna is like, oh, I go to Harvard. And he's like, well, I'm at Oxford. And she goes, that's impressive. And it's like this. That was the first time I was like, meh. Okay, it is impressive. It is.
I mean, it is impressive.
But the way that you said that, you might not be from America. I don't know.
America, not yeah. So they meet and it's cute. So they meet cute.
Mid cute.
And Claire is there, and again, Julie didn't fucking recognize her.
Not right away.
I want to talk about that makeup for a second because I think we disagree on this. I thought it was fucking brilliant.
I thought that.
I mean, I want to remind you that you literally didn't recognize her for like 3.5 minutes.
Maybe that's what they wanted. But when I did recognize her, I have to say this: she didn't look old enough, and I will.
How old is she supposed to be at that point?
Probably 50.
Yeah.
Late 40s.
Nah, man. Because when she was with Jamie, she was in her late 30s. She was like
late
39.
20s. She was in her late 20s.
Well, then that's their problem for actually making her be in her 30s when she was with him. Because there's no way on this show that she was in her late 20s when she did that.
I mean, she was a veteran.
Nah. She was in her fucking 30s in the show.
Check how old she actually is.
Absolutely.
According to IMDb, of course.
I'm going to guess 45.
I am going to guess that she's 29.
Nah.
Ooh, split the difference. Born October 4th, 1979.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's 36.
Okay.
When she's with Jamie, she looks a little bit older than him, which she should.
Yeah. Good. Well, because she's older.
Right. So, but then when you so she was there for 3 years, which would have made her 41 when she came back. And then she's giving birth to the baby. And then she should be like 50.
Well, then we're going off the age of the actress, which is not the age of the character.
But the age of the actress, I think, is an important aspect of this.
I'm talking about what she looks like.
As she looks. As like...
Well, I think the important thing was to make her look older than Jamie, but not that much older. Mm-hmm. And they needed the right Jamie. And they cast Jamie first.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jamie was younger than her no matter what. So they could always cast a young buck no matter what.
Well, no. They couldn't cast any young buck, and that's the whole deal.
They needed a specific dude. But, however, she needs to be older than him when she goes there. So she has to obviously be in her 30s. Which means
in the book she's like 27.
Yeah, but
sure,
not in the show she's not. In the show she obviously has to have she has to look older enough than him to be older.
And I feel like, and I'm with you on this, where they wouldn't have been much they would have had to do to assist that look. Just that I don't think they
didn't go far enough.
They still kept her so youthful.
They kept her face so youthful. All
right, so just to be clear, what you're saying is she's too old to be young and too young to be old?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can't if you're an actress of a certain age, there's no way to stride that chasm.
I thought that the way that they aged her was brilliant, which is that they made her look very different, and then there were more lines around her eyes, and she had gray in her hair.
I thought she looked good. I didn't think it was different enough.
You literally didn't recognize her.
No. No. Not till I saw her face. I recognized her when I saw her face.
No, she was on screen for like 3.5 minutes before you recognized her.
I don't think that's true.
That is true.
I think
Neil recognized her before you did.
I have no memory. I have no memory of this because we played D&D.
Didn't recognize her.
Whatever. Here's what I'll say is this: as the episode went on, I thought the makeup was amazing for the time period. I thought her blowout was great. I do think, however, that it was very hard to believe that she had a 20-year-old daughter.
I don't know. I think that now, I mean, first of all, we may have, all right, this is maybe specific information about Julie and I, but neither of us are planning on having children. We are both in our 30s. So to me, normal is I'm in my 30s and I don't have children. And that, to me, right now, normal is you're in your 30s and you don't have children. And back then, she was probably late in having children.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure she was old when she had her. And that's my whole point, is that if she had this baby after she came back from 3 years in Scotland, she had this baby when she was like 32. So at this point, she's going to be 50.
Yeah.
When her daughter is in college.
Yeah, but she's preternaturally beautiful.
Great, but that doesn't count.
It sure does. Catherine didn't know. This is what Neil said. When we were having this conversation yesterday, and Neil went, Sophia Loren, and that was all he said.
Great. So I guess that the character that all these women have been associating with for all their time is Sophia Loren.
No, maybe she just knows how to moisturize.
Whatever. I'm just saying it was hard to believe
I was totally on board.
based on her face. The hair looked great. The eye makeup looked great. But she is not old enough to have a 20-year-old daughter.
No matter what, whether it has to do with her age in the show or not, of course she's old enough to have a 20-year-old daughter. She probably started having a period when she was 14, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but she wasn't having sex with Jamie when she was 14.
No, but she was having sex with Jamie when she was 27.
She was having sex with Jamie when she was 32 based on the show.
I think we can move on to the next thing. I mean, we made our points. She
anyway,
still looked great.
The makeup was great. She looked great. Her costumes are great. I had just a little bit of a problem believing that she had a daughter that was college aged.
So here's where we differ, and this is all book related, right? What I was positively surprised about, and maybe this makes these things the same point, is that I believed that she was, but I expected that fucking poor Catherine Bell and Sam Heughan were going to have to spend the next indeterminate number of seasons in old age makeup, looking like making it very obvious how old they were, and I greatly prefer this.
You know, and that's actually, once you say it that way, understanding that actually makes a lot more sense.
Because we don't go back in time. We spend, after the, sorry, spoiler alert, we spend no more time with Claire and Jamie in the past.
Yep.
From now on,
we've caught up.
There's nothing I can say that won't spoil things.
You gotta let it go.
But that makes sense. Production-wise, I understand.
We don't, whatever year they were in, Culloden year, we never see Claire and Jamie in Culloden year ever again.
So what you're saying is that they have to keep Claire desirable?
No.
I'm saying that Claire is no longer going to look whatever age you think she was ever again.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's done. So for the rest of the series, she looks the way that she looks in 1968.
Okay.
Or older.
That makes sense.
I mean, I'm sure her appearance changes.
Does Jamie look younger?
I don't know. I've never seen him.
That's a spoiler.
I haven't seen Jamie past this time. The only thing that we know based on the show is that he didn't die at Culloden. That's what we know based on the show.
Okay, fine.
Like, literally, and this is a good thing to talk about, despite the fact that this is in 1968, half of the episode. Here are the things we know about Culloden, because they basically used Culloden as a cliffhanger, right? So here's what we know about Culloden. We know that they lost because of history and also because Claire landed in the future and went, "Who won? What year is it?" To somebody who just randomly was picking her up on the road.
Natty gentleman.
Oh, hey, madam, do you need a ride home? And she's like, "What year is it?" Right, that happened. Yeah. So we know that they lost. And we know, based on what Roger found, and again, remembering Roger is a historian, so we can assume his sources are sound, that Jamie didn't die at Culloden. That's all the information we have.
But we don't find that out till the end of the episode.
Yes.
So we've gone through the wake. Brianna and Roger have met each other. It's a meet cute. They're adorable. They decide not to leave. Claire and Bree decide not to leave because...
And Claire's got that great 60s eye makeup that used to happen in Mad Men all the time, where there's like a weird shadow that goes in the folds of your...
Was that a thing? Because I was watching that going on.
It was a thing
intense.
In the 60s.
Oh, my.
That was a whole thing.
We find out at the wake that Miss Graham is dead, which we talked about in the last episode.
Mrs.
But
Graham.
her granddaughter Fiona is still doing the emotional labor, so she's still around.
Fiona sticks around and is amazing. Fiona sticks around.
All right, so Fiona's like telling Roger things like, "We need to get people out of the house."
An expert baker.
Excellent. So they decide to stay in the guest bedroom, as Neil said. Maybe it changed, but they decide to stay. Claire is cuddled up by the fireplace, in front of which, in 1940, whatever, she told...
60. Oh, that one.
Nope. She told Frank, "I'm pregnant with another man's baby." Same fireplace. She's there in her jammies with some whiskey. Roger comes up. We're sitting in the same fucking set piece. Like nothing has changed. It's the same set piece. But there's 3 glasses for whiskey. Why are there 3 glasses?
I'm assuming, Brianna didn't show up. I know you said that.
I was like, why are there 3
Brianna
glasses?
didn't show up. I'm assuming it was just like a 3-glass set. I don't
Maybe
know.
it's just there.
Was one there for the Lord?
Maybe it was for the Lord.
Maybe.
Somebody pour me out of that growler.
And then we found out, and that's where we found out that Roger is actually a Mackenzie.
All right, so here's a real thing. So the way that you find out that Roger is a Mackenzie is very different from the way it happens in the books. So now we know, because Claire went into genealogical research, and there's that very charming scene with her and that extra, whose name
That
I don't
happens
know,
later.
but she was great. But whatever, we're jamming shit together. So Roger Mackenzie, who adopts the name Mackenzie later, he is the witch's get. Mm-hmm. That's the way that they say it. But it's not true because it's later, right? So he's Brianna's like bazillionth time cousin.
But so far apart, who gives a shit if they fuck?
No, nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Especially not me. Can't wait.
I mean, seriously though, like FDR and Eleanor, way closer.
Yeah, way closer. So Claire starts to be like, hey, can you do some genealogical research on Roger Wakefield / Mackenzie? And then they do. And what we find out at the end of the episode, let's spend a few minutes talking about Roger. What they found out at the end of the episode is that Roger is a direct descendant, after many generations, of the offspring of Galis Duncan and Dougal Mackenzie. And
Cheers.
Is that a good entrance for the most important part of the whole conversation?
Yes.
Galis!
So Roger takes Bree to Fort William. There's some weirdness where she like walks up on the
and she has a
stripping
shiver.
thing, and she's like, "Ooh, I feel kind of chilly." And it's like, "Yeah, you feel chilly because this is where your dad got his ass beat by your dad's dad."
Hashtag.
Dad! I don't know how. All right, I'm going to count on my fingers right now. Dads. Dad. That's 9
That's pretty
dads.
close. That's pretty close to what I just did,
So
you
the
guys.
first one is it? Well, no, I have no idea how
That was
many
great.
generations. This
Yeah.
was me approximating you. So we'll just assume that the first one is dads, and then there are 8 dads. And then
So-
the last one is a dad.
Your dad, like real dad, like actual semen dad,
Yeah, like
got
he was
his
a weak seaman though.
ass kicked by your dad.
We don't know anything about the quality of his semen except for that he couldn't have
do it.
babies.
No, he's the weak semen.
Yeah, but Tobias Mungo. He got to. Did you get to see any of Tobias Mungo?
No, I didn't see any of it.
Oh, you're just gonna Janine. He's the best. He's so
You
good.
got so much coming. What Brianna said was, at Fort William, this place gives me the chills as she looked directly at the whipping post.
And you could see the brackets where his
And I was
hands were.
like, your dad got his ass kicked here.
Scar back.
So how does it happen that Brianna goes to the college where Roger works?
They had to like.
Roger
fix
is
it.
there for a meeting or something, and he doesn't work at Oxford, but he has to go there for a meeting. This is not in the book, which is what makes it different.
Mm-hmm.
So Roger has to go there to meet somebody for some sort of intellectual pursuit, whatever. He's a dude. It's important shit. We women don't need to know
We don't
about it.
understand. We don't care.
So Brianna is like, oh, I'll wait. I'll just wait. I'll wander around. I'll wait. And you assume,
Even though she goes to fucking Harvard. I'm like, whatever. I don't care.
you assume she's going to sit on a bench and flip through the latest edition of Glamour.
Ms.
Right? But instead, she wanders up the stairs and she's like, oh, there seems to be a rally here. And you hear this voice.
And you recognize this voice.
You do. And it made me so excited because I knew, because I've read the books, that eventually Galis would be back. And Julie has been asking me for literally almost 2 years if Galis was going to come back. Mm-hmm. And then I heard her fucking voice. And I want to give props to the Outlander PR team who didn't fucking tip their hat at all that Lottie Verbeek was going to be in this episode. Because, damn, she was in her red tights and her black boots
It was so
and her
quiet. It was
fabulous
so
dress.
quiet, and like Brianna's like going up these stairs, and I looked at Allison, and I was like, Keyless.
As someone who didn't know what was going on, I was sitting there going, everyone's reacting. Why is everyone reacting? I just wanted to see what they were
She was so good. I'll say this about Lottie Verbeek. If people who are listening have never watched Agent Carter, which got canceled because the world is a cruel place.
That show is really good, though.
It's really good. Season 2, Lottie Verbeek has a prominent role that's basically the opposite of Gaylis Duncan. Do you think that's a fair approximation?
I haven't seen season 2.
Oh, God. Well, she's Mrs. Jarvis.
Oh, my God.
I just made Julie's day.
Oh, my God. That's awesome.
She's wonderful. She's like a beam of light. She's so wonderful and happy and positive and optimistic. It's the opposite of Gaylis Duncan. So,
Well, Gaylis Duncan does have certain dark aspects to her character, but
I'm
also...
not saying that Gaylis is not without redeeming qualities. What I'm saying is that
she does
Mrs. Jarvis...
kill dudes.
Mrs. Jarvis is like Doris Day without being annoying, and Gaylis is like Lizzie Borden if she didn't have an axe.
Yeah.
But like wonderful.
It's true.
But still. Like Gaylis is not there to be a...
So Brianna walks up the
sympathetic.
stairs and she hears a big speech
about the White Roses of Scotland. And here
Scottish
I want to give
nationalism.
a little cheers to the Outlander art direction team, because those pamphlets, they could not have been more 60s.
It was pretty good.
They were very on point. I
Yeah.
was actually thinking that. I was like, it was printed appropriately. It looked great. Yeah.
Yep.
So she walks up these stairs. They're in like the student union or whatever, and Gaylis, aka what's her name?
Jillian
Akers, is going for it. Like, if our beautiful Prince Charles had won.
I am Bloody Prince Charlie. You are Bloody Prince Charlie.
So it's like Scottish nationalism. Like, what would have happened if Culloden hadn't happened?
And of course, at this point, Brianna doesn't know shit about shit.
She doesn't know.
They just are
But
pals.
we all know, and we're like, what? And so she meets Gaylis, Jillian. It's like, well, it's very interesting what you said, but what about this? But what about this? But what about this?
They have a history major conversation.
Right. And Jillian's like, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about a dick rock.
Let's follow Jillian's path for just a second. So the way that works from here on out is that they bring home her little pamphlet, and Claire sees it, and we'll get back to what happens before Claire sees it in a second. But Claire sees it and decides like, oh, I should go try to find her. So she goes to the Egger's house. Egger. It's an Egger suit. He's wearing an Egger suit.
Egger house.
If you don't understand that reference, it's a reference to Men in Black, which means that you're way more culturally sophisticated than I am.
No, just younger.
Maybe just younger.
No. To be fair, I didn't get it.
Egger suit. It's an Egger suit. Yeah, Julie, you're also not younger than me.
No. I'm way older than you.
Yeah, Julia's
Old.
not that much older than me.
No, I'm pretty old, though. Like, I'm almost 40.
I'll say this. Julie could have been my babysitter.
Which, in, like, cultural speaking, I'm basically invisible and nobody hears me, so...
Well, that's not true because you're too funny.
No,
people hear you because you're funny.
You're in a podcast.
no.
That's true. You're in a podcast. You're an My latest jam is calling Julie an internet personality.
Which is hilarious because I'm fucking... Whatever.
Whatever. She retweets things.
What ifs? I don't even understand how the Twitters works.
You retweet things quicker than I do.
Yeah, I'm old.
What the hell were we talking about?
Gaylis.
Gaylis. Oh, God. Lottie
No,
Verbeek.
wait.
Hey, we've been choosing people all fucking night.
Lottie Verbeek. That actress
God,
is
she
great.
was so good. And we'll be talking a lot more about her when we start season 1 in like 3 weeks. But
So we see her at the college. Brianna sees her, and then
they have a cute chat.
I don't have anything between that and the wax figure of Bonnie
This is
Prince
a real
douche.
problem because we were so into this episode that neither of us wrote notes.
Yeah. So, I guess that the next thing is that
No, so they had the meeting. Brianna listened and Roger showed up. They had a cute chat.
Roger met her. I feel like that's an important point.
That is. Well, it is an important point because of what we're going to get to. Yeah. So they all met. Roger and Brianna and Galis all met. I'm sorry, Jillian all met. And around the same time, Claire went to see her husband.
In his grave at Culloden.
No.
The mass grave.
No. Jillian's husband.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
No, but she did the mass grave thing then that.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
She went to Culloden, which also doesn't happen in the book. So she went to Culloden.
Oh, so she'd already said goodbye.
No, I'm talking about goodbye right now.
Right.
So she went to Culloden and she stood in front of the marker stone that says Clan Fraser. And the deal about Culloden is that none of those stones actually mark anything at all. Right? Because...
Well, they mark a mass grave. They're
hundreds
just like,
and hundreds of people died.
All this clan died. All this clan died.
Yeah.
All this clan
And none
died.
of them in a specific place. So she decides she's going to go, and some little old lady says, "Are you a Fraser?" And she says, "Yes." And then she stands there, and she apparently tells all about Brianna's life, and it goes like this. "You have a daughter. And then there's a cut, and she goes, and that's all."
Yeah, no, it's literally, that's the way it happens.
It's not a great cut. I'm going to be honest.
She acts like you. Cut.
Yeah.
And then touch the stone and like, I love you.
And
now
that's
I can
all.
finally say goodbye.
And then she says goodbye. And I will admit it's very moving. It was a lovely scene. Catherine
Both
did a great job. And if she didn't already have the Faith episode, this would be her Emmy episode. But she has the Faith episode, which is her
Faith
Emmy
was
episode.
better. Yeah.
I don't know that it was a better episode, but it was better for her.
It was better for her.
I like not knowing what the Faith episode was, at least watching this episode. She had it was a good moment. I wouldn't give it an Emmy moment though.
No.
Yeah.
Faith was when she had the miscarriage and the baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's we'll have to watch that
Sunday,
one with you.
yeah.
You know what? Before we do the season wrap up, we should watch Faith with Aaron. I'm sorry, Janine.
Yeah.
Jenny.
Well, who's Aaron? Come on.
I have no idea who's Aaron.
So while this shit is happening, when Brianna is at the college and meeting Jillian, a.k.a. Galis, Claire is saying goodbye to Jamie for the last time.
Oh, it was really rough.
And then we come back and Roger's like, hey, let's go to the pub.
Also, this is a thing we should mention that we haven't yet, which doesn't happen in the books, which is Brianna says, hey, I read a bunch of letters from your dad, adopted dad, that said there was a weird thing that happened between my parents and they were in Scotland, but it's not referenced outright. But it was obvious that he didn't want to put it in writing. So there was a thing. I don't know what it was. The event. So then Roger, because apparently he's a busybody, was like, oh, don't worry. My father kept journals. So
This gets better.
Wait. What about when we went to the museum and there was Bonnie Prince whoosh bag?
I mean,
and
we're
then,
not going in order.
But wait. Dragonfly and Amber was there.
I know. That's Claire. That wasn't Brianna and Roger.
No, but it was in the same museum.
Yeah, it was the Culloden.
Yeah, but Claire wasn't there. That was Claire saw. No, that's separate. No, Claire saw all of it. It's all Claire.
Yeah.
It's all Claire. You're right. It's all Claire.
What?
So, but now we're in Brianna and Roger. So, Brianna and Roger, after they saw the Loch Ness Monster, they went to have some haggis, and then they ate some biscuits.
There's no R.
I know. There wasn't an R in haggis either.
Oh, I just kind of went with that.
It's
like ass.
Era. That's the same. That's basically the equivalent.
So we're moving forward to where they go up. Like, he took her to the pub, and he was like, wait a minute. I have all this shit in my dad's house. The Reverend's house.
Dad's house. That is his
My
dad's house.
There's some shit up there. He kept journals for years. Let's go look at the journals. And she's like, sweet.
And they go. And then there's all the interspersed this and that and whatever. And they do a lot of digging, and there's a rat. And then, the rat satire.
He sings
That's one
an
of my
adorable song.
favorite moments from the entire episode. Also,
it was really
straight
good.
from the book.
It was really good.
Oh, it was very charming. You know, that guy, remind me his name?
You
wrote it down, I think.
Richard Rankin.
Richard Rankin.
R.R.
Very charming.
Did you make that up, or was that scripted? Because if
that's in the book.
Oh, no. I understand it was in the book.
Song.
Word for word.
Oh, all right, fine. All right, Diana Gabaldon, you win.
Cheers, Diana. Someday she's going to listen to this shit. I'm going to feel great about it.
Anyway, it was adorable because it's like that time when you date a guy.
Don't nibble on me ways. I would walk 5,000 miles.
Yeah, it's like when you date. It's like when you date a guy and you're kind of pissed that he's a dude, but then all of a sudden he says something so adorable and cute, and you're like, oh wait. I could bone you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened
Also,
there.
I mean, you might have that thought no matter what because he's very handsome.
He's very handsome, but he's Mumford and or son.
Yeah, but he's got a nice beard. It's not an out of control beard.
We haven't even talked about her pants yet. We'll come back.
Oh.
Yeah, we've really avoided that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're going
Costumes
to come
will
back
be
to
at the
that.
end.
We'll come back to that.
So basically, at some point, Roger was like, "Let's go look at my grandfather's journals." And they go read the journals, and then Brianna finds out that shit,
My dad was alive in 1700s.
no, that's
She
not
doesn't
what
realize
happens. What she realizes is that her dad was not her dad because her mom got stolen by the fairies.
Right. She sees the...
And she came back 3 months pregnant.
3 years later.
Yeah, but
Right.
3 months pregnant.
And 3 years later. Right.
Yeah. So Brianna runs in the room pissed as hell. And I have to say...
But this is... Wait, hold on. This is also after Claire has done all the shit about finding out where Lollybrock went.
Oh, that scene when she's at Lollybrock, Jesus Christ.
Going to the mass grave at Culloden and like touching it and like saying goodbye. Like Claire has been doing her best. I'm releasing all of this out of, I have done this. I am saying goodbye. I am doing all of this. And then Brie comes in hot.
No, we gotta give it more time, right? Because it's separate things. Also, I should say, this shit, also not in the book. Claire goes out of her way to not engage with any of the shit. What she wants to do in the book is just tell Brianna who her father is. So she goes out of her way to avoid Culloden. She doesn't go to Lollybrock. She doesn't go to any of these places because she doesn't want to. Brianna goes with Roger. The only thing she says to Roger is, "Don't bring her to Craignadoon."
Because don't touch a dick rock.
Because she might go accidentally back in time.
Oh, Lord.
Right? Oh,
Anyway,
Lord.
in the show, it's heartbreaking because Claire is going about actually making peace
Grieving, yeah.
with her feelings about Jamie and everything. And then Brianna finds out, and then Brianna confronts her, and it is like the
Awful.
worst.
Oh, she basically calls her a slut.
It's
for
the
like
worst.
5 minutes. It's really awful.
But then
Janine.
Yeah.
When Claire
It
says...
was awful.
Thanks,
when
bro.
Claire actually says to her, "It was the love of my life."
And she looks just disgusted.
Yeah.
She really does.
That was actually really hard to watch.
And I will say the thing that's the same in the books is that Brianna accepts the reality of her mother's life when she sees Galus disappear.
Yeah, but that comes later.
I know.
Because-
and it's the same. She doesn't believe. She sees Galus disappear. She believes.
Oh, we even forgot about the fact that Claire went to her husband's house and took all the notebooks, whatever. So Claire at this point knows that
In
Galus
the books, she
knows.
steals the notebooks from the college that Galus is taking all the courses at, where she's spending where she's spending all her husband's money on education,
But that
like
also-
a stupid whore.
That also
I
happens
hate
in the
that
show,
guy.
though. This also happens
Oh,
in the
I
show.
know, that's what I'm saying.
So it's like A Star is Born. He's drunk. He's drunk in their
Oh, he was
house
so drunk.
that he's paid for. Oh, God, this goes back so much. Fucking Claire sees it. She steals the notebooks, finds out that Galus is doing this. They find out that Galus is leaving. Oh, God,
All right,
this doesn't
so
make
here's
any
the thing.
sense.
No, here's the thing that's worth talking about from a person who's read the books, right? So I'm currently sitting at a table made of glass, covered with one lighter that says Wilco, several beer caps, my notebook, Julie's notebook, Aaron's computer, some sort of...
Janine's computer.
I'm sorry, Janine's
who's
computer. A sound mixer, a growler, and lots of empties. And here's what I'm going to say around this space. I have absolutely no idea.
That was the best lead up.
Oh, Lord.
No, what were we talking about?
Okay, hold on. We forgot to talk about the part where
No, we
Claire
gotta go back.
meets
Hold on.
Galus's husband.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
All right, so let me give you the background. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Here's the shit on time travel in general from Outlander. So first of all, Claire goes to see, this doesn't happen in the book. Claire goes to see the husband of Gillian Edgar's, and he is so hammered he can't keep his eyes open, and says like, "Oh, I told her she shouldn't spend all my money on courses."
But he has a beautiful house, so obviously he has a lot of money.
I don't know in 1968. What was the property value in
That
Scotland?
house was beautiful, like the big windows and shit.
But you don't know what the property value was in Scotland right then?
But hold on.
doing
It doesn't
well.
matter when it happens.
It was a beautiful house. It's true.
Yeah.
So, and then he falls asleep, and Claire goes like, Mom,
I'm gonna take these notebooks.
I guess I'm just going to take these notebooks. And she does. So she takes these notebooks. And I really, from a reader's perspective, I really hope that next season we get at least some chunk of the grimoire of Galus Duncan, because that shit...
We get to see her journals, and they are hot. They're a hot fucking mess.
Oh, they're wonderful.
They're wonderful, but they're also a hot mess.
If you follow any of the people involved with the production of Outlander, so people with Tall Ship Productions, or any of the writers or producers, or in particular Terry Dressbach, who's the costume designer, they occasionally tweet photos. So I've seen many, many photos of the inside of the Galus grimoire, right? Which is in the show.
So she's
But-
been researching how to time travel.
So her opinion, and this is all bullshit that's also mentioned, is that it requires both gemstones and a human sacrifice. And
guess who's gonna die?
here's the thing. Well, yes, her husband's going to die. But knowing, just going forward, Galus is not correct. Galus is wrong. The way that her shit works, we're fine, is that Galus is wrong. That's not how it works. That's not the thing. So, what you know
Brianna
is that...
has not believed this shit.
And then she sees, and then they show up on the hill because Claire, to her credit, and Roger, to his extreme credit,
told
because
Claire,
Claire is like, "Hey, by the way, if I stop this woman from going back in time to get burned to death,
You're
and
gonna
you
die."
might not exist." And Roger's like, "Well,
we can stop
we
her
should
from dying.
probably do that." So then they go and try. To his great credit, also in the book, that's what happens. If you need another reason to love Roger Wakefield,
I already love him
like-
because he's like Jimmy Stewart in a cable knit sweater.
yes. Also, he's a great beard.
Did we ever see his neck?
Nah, we never saw his neck.
Great.
You know what? I wrote that down at some point. Janine was like, "I bet he has a great neck, but I've never seen it."
But he's extra hot. He's like that guy that in high school you were maybe like best friends with and never thought about getting with. And then when you're in your 20s, you're like, why didn't I fucking fuck that guy?
That's the opposite of my high school experience. My high school experience was, "Oh, that guy in that turtleneck, I should get with him. Oh, he doesn't know I exist. That's fine."
But now that guy would want to fuck you. I don't know. Let's find out turtleneck guy. Hey, at turtleneck guy. Hashtag turtleneck guy. Who's with us? Who wants to have sex with these ladies? Who wants to sex Matumbo? Nobody knows what that means. Nobody knows what that means.
I do. I've known your husband for a long time. I know exactly what
It's
that
an
means.
NBA joke, you guys.
I don't know if you know this, listener, but Julie's husband and my partner, who I'm not mad at right now,
Mob.
but
Mob. It's a different person.
Yeah, that's Mob.
what? So they both watch a lot of NBA basketball.
Who wants to sex Matumbo?
So I've heard the story about when Dikembe Mutombo walked into a bar and said, "Who wants to sex Mutombo?" so many times.
Yeah, just saying.
And the answer is absolutely no one.
No,
Who?
sorry. Everyone.
No!
Yes, everyone.
Come back.
I need
I have to back up from the microphone?
No, come back.
I need
We
to
need to go back to
I need to see,
Outlander.
I need to see what that's like.
Janina's reeling us in.
I'm sorry, I need to see what that's like.
I don't.
I do. Anyway, so
Where were we?
wait, hold on. So they find out that Galus is going to the Dick Rocks that night. She's going back in time.
Well, I mean, there's a whole thing because Galus is after Brianna's like, "Tell me about my dad," and Claire's like, "Oh, well, he existed back in the day,"
And Brianna
Brianna's
doesn't
like,
believe her.
"You're a fucking liar."
Right.
She's like, "But I'm not really."
And then they go to the Dick Rocks because they want to save Galus. And then Galus is all in her homespun because she's
With
smart
her.
about time travel.
All right, so let's talk about this for a moment. So I spent a lot of time on Twitter, on Tara Dressbox Twitter. There are two. She has two. One is just her. One is just about Outlander. So I follow both of them because I don't really have a life. So I follow both of them. But the one that's her costuming, there's a whole shit about how Galus, the costume you see her in when she's at the Dick Rocks, the DRs.
No, just Dick Rocks.
Rocks.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
The Dick Rocks. She's wearing basically what she wears when we see her.
The first time?
Yeah,
When she's, like, gathering herbs?
Yeah. But when we see her that time, apparently there was a whole fan uproar about how it wasn't historically accurate. And it's the same costume.
Okay,
because
fans.
she didn't fucking know. So she time traveled with something she thought, like her headscarf shit.
Yeah.
That was her thinking she knew what was what, and she didn't. And then that's what we see. And if you look at the pictures, please do, because Terry Dressbrock is a fucking genius. That shit is the same. It's just brilliant. It's like she had one outfit that she recycles for when she needs to meet new people. It's just great. It's wonderful.
So we haven't talked about this, but I know that there was a mention that Jillian thought she had to have a human sacrifice, and guess who that human sacrifice was?
Her husband.
Kind of a dick, so I think
Her
that makes
husband.
sense.
She just straight
the
up.
biggest dick.
Well, she straight up set him on fire with like gasoline and shit.
I mean, I assume he was dead beforehand.
It was
You
not
hope.
awesome.
Might have just been passed out.
No, he drove her there. Like his car was there.
She might have drove that car.
Whatever. Maybe she killed him at home.
You know what I like?
Who knows?
You know what I like to think? He was just so drunk and saturated with alcohol. She just had to strike a match.
Bush. But then you saw
She would
her
have been
with,
like, "Hey,
you
get in
saw
the
the
passenger
gasoline.
seat," and then they
Yeah.
drive, and then she's like, "You should take a nap right here," and then she just lit him on fire.
So she lit his ass on fire and then touched the rock and left right as fucking Claire and Brianna and Roger are running up. So Brianna gets to see her disappear into the rock.
Well, and as she's running up, she goes, "What's that buzzing?"
Yeah.
yeah.
What-
So
important
she
There's
thing.
the
heard
buzzing
it.
thing. This remains important. So here's the thing we should point out: Claire, Brianna, and Roger all hear a buzzing.
Why
Then we
does
go
Roger
into
hear
the
it?
past. Jamie does not hear a buzzing
But why does Roger hear it?
because he's the witch's get.
Oh, I didn't even think think about
It's genetic, because it's genetic.
Yeah.
He gets it. Julie, I don't want to ruin anything for you, but
No,
I feel
don't.
like I should point out that Brianna and Roger can both travel in time.
All right, fine. I appreciate that that's about to happen to me. So we see...
I literally just spit beer all over my person.
We see that fucking Jillian falls into the rocks. We know where she's going. Claire, 50-year-old Claire, is pissed. Like, what?
So here's the thing I think I should point out, which is that if you're paying attention to what Jillian says in her grimoire, she thinks gemstones matter, and in the books, gemstones steer where you're going, which is how we get a time spent in the past that's not 200 years, which is Claire's, right? Claire goes back roughly 200 years, which is what's in the stories. Galus goes back way more than that, because she leaves after Claire and goes earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because she
Because
steers.
you gotta establish her fucking self to get in there to be a Jacobite.
She steers.
Yeah, she knows.
Which, spoiler, gemstones. She believes it's gemstones. She also believes it's human sacrifice, but it's not human sacrifice.
So Galus is gone. Jillian is gone. We see all this shit. As Roger and Bree run up, Roger hands Claire a letter.
No, that's later.
No, because she's by the rocks when she sees it.
No,
happened-
because you're forgetting because there are no cell phones. Roger,
Yeah, he has to leave.
He has
That's
to-
right.
So there's a
all right. So
yeah.
she burns her husband alive. Roger,
They send him back to get a
they're
cop.
like, Roger, get help. And all three, I have to
None of
say,
us, yeah.
Julie, Aaron, and I are
Jillian.
Janine.
No.
Janine.
I'll be Jillian.
Julie and I are all extremely intelligent people. We watched the show, and we didn't realize that the reason that Roger was not there was that there was no such thing as cell phones for like 10 minutes.
It was ridiculous because they were like, because Claire and Brianne were having this moment, and they were like, she was like,
She's like, you're right.
Yeah.
I can't believe you were right. I believe you.
And we're just sinking.
In her
we're just watching,
horrible
we're like,
American
It was
accent.
not horrible.
Wasn't great.
No, her appropriate American accent.
It wasn't great.
But then all of a
But it
sudden,
wasn't bad.
all of a sudden, Roger shows up coming from his car, and we're like, oh yeah, he would have to fucking drive.
And then it was
have to
dawn.
drive to town.
Because it was dawn. Because we're seeing like sunlight.
He had
we're
to
like,
drive
holy
all
shit.
the way to town.
He had to drive all the way to town.
Hey, I'm calling because there's someone
Oh my god.
who needs medical assistance.
It did take me
He's
so-
on fire and he needs help from someone who is not me.
I think we all just learned it takes 30 minutes to make a conversation.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Just in general. Just in general. So they show up at dawn.
Don.
And that's when Claire finds out that Jamie maybe didn't die.
And here's the difference between the books. Julie, can you let me have this for a second?
Please.
All right, so here's what happens in the show. Roger has already found a text that says there was one Fraser officer who was in a house and there were a bunch of people injured in there and all of them were shot. But one, a Fraser, an officer of Lord Lovett's regiment, survived. And then they did fucking process of elimination. They figured out that he was the only one. And then Claire, standing in front of her daughter, this is not a thing that happens in the book, says, I have to go back. Which, first, true. Second, I'm really sorry, Brianna.
No, in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. The man who could flick my bean in 10 seconds? I am sorry.
All right.
Hey, wait, Brianna, you cool at Harvard? You like 20? You feel good? Look at this guy in the cable knit sweater. Maybe there's a flick bean thing there. I don't care about the body.
No, so Julie is actually not that raw.
touch a rock.
So if it is in any way similar to the books, it's actually not that far. Julie is not that far off, despite the fact that she was just being hilarious. But the way that it works is that
I love you. Bye.
no, it's not that at all. It's because they're not the rocks. They
Those
go
me
to
touching
the
the
rocks just to try to save Jillian. And then, because I will say this, the rocks are way scarier in the books. They all pass out. Roger bleeds through his nose.
Oh.
They all pass out.
I'm sorry.
Because it's traumatic. It's a traumatic experience.
Based on just being a person who's just watched the show, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit that you're my daughter. I don't give a shit that you're the guy that's about to fuck her. I don't give a shit. Boo, 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 bye.
I wonder
Gerard.
if you're forgetting the way that she describes going through the stones in season 1 is being in a car that falls off a bridge and goes upside down, only 10 times worse. That's
Fine.
literally what she says.
Because if that's what I have to pay to get Jamie back.
Oh, I mean, she's still do it. I'm assuming I'm not spoiling anything for anyone when I say that Claire, is eventually going to go back in time again.
But that's my whole thing.
Because the series would end if she was like, no, end of series. Dun, 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 dun. That was my Game of Thrones theme.
No, but it's like,
because eventually all those people would just
Brianna,
have to watch Game of Thrones.
You're an amazing adult woman in 1968. You're about to learn about birth control. Roger, you're astounding and a very sensitive man with a beard. Why don't you guys fuck each other? Bye! I'm touching a rock.
That's not how it works, but it's not that far off. So
I'm sorry. If I had a Jamie in my history where I could touch a dick rock to get back there.
Julie, I mean, she's gonna go back. You have to know the last
Will
line.
she be old and he'll be young?
No.
That's what we were talking about before with the whole makeup thing, right? Like, time has passed now for them, and I think that's what the most exciting thing about
Galis
this is.
thinks blood sacrifice and gemstones allow her to steer.
That's like my mom, though.
Claire just walked through the stones. So she'll just walk through the stones again. Maybe, hypothetically, same timeline.
So she'll go back. She will go back, and it'll be this. She'll go back to being like 32 years old. She'll go back to being like normal times when she was fucking Jamie.
Parallel timelines.
So, like, as 20 years has passed for her, 20 years has passed for him.
Mm-hmm.
That is hot as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I am sorry. That is the hottest thing I've ever heard. Like, if she's 50 years old and he is like 45 years old or 42 years old, yes.
I think that's the exciting part about this is like, 3 years and blah, 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 and all this horrible war shit. But now she's going to go fucking back 20 years later and be like, I found out you were fucking alive and I touched a dick rock. Hey!
Hey, I decided because this is a thing that's not made clear by the show. Going through that shit could just kill you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It could kill you.
Kill these women. Why did they have to go back? Oh, well, I guess we get there.
It could kill those women. That's a thing that's not clear in Galis's book. People go through those stones all the time and die. All the time.
Why did Claire live? Whatever. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
No, she lived the first time because she got lucky. She lived the second time because she was thinking about Frank and Brianna, her baby. Not Brianna specifically because she didn't know gender or whatever. That's why. It's because you focus on a person. Ooh, spoiler. Shouldn't have said that. Oh, hiccups. Shouldn't have said that.
Are we going to do the scale or are we going to let it go for the second one?
We're going to do a scale.
You got this.
All right.
All right. You.
So this is only the 1968 portion.
You know what? We skipped something. We skipped something really important.
What is?
The Doing It by Craig and Dune.
Well, that was in the old one. No, we talked about it in the old one.
Oh, we're in 1968.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it in the old one. And remember I cried?
You did cry.
Yeah, remember that was sad. Because it was too real. Neil, I love you.
Did we skip 1968 shit?
No, I think
No.
No, we have not talked about the Velvet Pants. But we're going to
that's hold
costumes.
on. That's hold on.
Okay.
BT Dubs, Neil, I love you. I'm sorry. So, in the 1968 portion of this episode, just the 1968 shit. What do you feel about the costumes? Are you going to go like, hold on, I'm going to give you a scale. 1968 scale. Am I going to go Umbrellas of Cherbourg?
Oh boy.
That's a deep cut. Or that's pretty deep though. That's like real 1968. So that'll be my highest. That'll be my highest.
You're missing the most obvious reference.
My lowest is Mad Men.
No, that's not lowest.
No, man. You go back and watch Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
I've seen Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
Okay, fine. So maybe we'll swap it. Let's do that.
No, don't swap it.
But Mad Men only has 1968 for 1 year. Umbrellas of Cherbourg is all 1968. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then you get to watch the 60s evolve when you're watching Mad
But
Men.
we're only talking about 1 year. We're talking about 1968.
Oh, well, let me say this. I only know the eye makeup because of Mad Men.
All right. I will say this. That weird-ass line over her fucking eyeball.
60s eye makeup?
Fucking not good.
No, it's great for the 60s. That's what it was.
Well, obviously it's good for the 60s.
That's a
but
Joan Harris standard.
It didn't
Thank you,
look
Christina
good.
Hendricks.
Well, I mean,
I thought it was great. I'm not going to lie.
thank
I
you,
thought she looked
Christine
amazing.
Hendricks, for several things.
All kinds of things.
Specifically, everything about you.
I'm going on a 60 scale. Give me a second. I'm going on a 60 scale. Look, just give me a second.
All right.
So I'm going to say the educational film that inspired me for Madness. That's my low end.
Mm-hmm.
My high end is going to be well, it should be Mad Men, but I won't say that. I'm going to say the Victor Garber Godspell.
Nice.
And I'm going to say...
Ooh, that's real hippie, though. That's like extra hippie.
Oh, I know. I'm going to say that makes it like a concert version of Hair.
Okay. All right.
But mostly just because... Can we talk for a minute about Brianna's pants?
Let the sunshine. Let the sunshine.
Julie, can you give me just a second here? Here we go. I want to share with you a little special skill. Are you ready? I don't have that many, but this is one of them. When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planet. And I'm done. So... what I'm saying is...
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. I can't stop myself.
Oh, man.
All right, fine.
So, what I'm actually saying is that I think that time is a fluid entity. It changes.
So we're talking about Mad Men. Okay, fine.
We're not talking about Mad Men. Where do I go on the scale? So,
All
it's not Mad Men because Janie Bryan is a fucking genius, and it's not quite that. I mean, I think it's brilliant. I think especially Brianna's costumes are wonderful. They're not showboaty. Like no one ever said like, oh no, let's put Brianna in paisley. That never happened, right? So it's beautiful. And God, those burnt orange velvet pants.
They were really good.
Oh, they were fabulous.
I should own them.
Me too. They were great. And then she had her little like out on the town date with Roger where they saw the wax figurine of BPD in his plaid costume. Right?
So what's your ending costume scale?
Oh God. What is the name of the episode of Mad Men where there's
It's
a
hard,
lawnmower?
isn't it?
No, look it up, because that's my answer. But I am too drunk. If I was sober, I could tell you the name of the episode in Mad Men where the guy gets his foot run over with a lawnmower, which I haven't seen, and now I'm immediately incredibly sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't mind that.
Here's the thing.
I
you
never
listeners
mind a
should know.
spoiler. I never mind a spoiler.
I know, but
I don't care.
But you don't. But you
I don't
do,
care.
But you don't. So Julie and I have. I mean, every time we've done this, I've seen all of them, and she hasn't. A guy. It's called A Guy Walks Into an Advertising Agency.
I don't know how to look this up. I'm looking. It's the last season, right?
No.
You said the 60s.
It's like season 3. Most of it's in the 60s.
Oh, I thought you said the last. Never mind.
No. It's called A Guy Walks Into an Advertising Agency.
We'll come back to that.
That is what it's called.
That's what
So
it's called.
that's costumes. We'll come back to it.
No, that's costumes. That's what we're talking about, right?
That's fine. That's fine.
Because Joan is wearing a beautiful suit that gets splattered with blood.
Hold on. No more. That's enough. What about doing it scale? But
You
this
know
is
what?
only 68. You can't.
Only 68.
You can't. We can't talk about the desperate doing it because we've
Okay.
already talked about the
That's
desperate
right.
doing
All right.
it.
So what is
Let's make this a dry eye episode.
Yeah.
when there's just sexual tension? I guess that's Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, because you never see them
Or
actually do
Vanilla
it.
Sky. At the beginning
Oh,
of
I would
Vanilla
never
Sky.
say Vanilla Sky because that shit is sexist.
Oh, yeah, that actually is pretty bad.
Okay, so we're gonna say Sleepless in Seattle, which is great because in Sleepless in Seattle, if the roles were reversed, it would be
A
sexist.
horror movie. It would be a fucking
But
horror
because of
movie.
the world we live in, it's not. And it should be. And get back to me someday. Oh my God, all I want in the world is for Sleepless in Seattle to be sexist.
Not too long away. Hopefully.
That makes you very optimistic.
I'm just saying, it's terrifying.
So what's the other side?
Drinking. Nope.
Don't get up. Never.
Wait, hold on. I'll give you a scale.
Okay.
From Bob Ross.
Oh, bless him.
I do love Bob Ross. To American Ninja Warrior. I mean, you got like a guy painting on a canvas to people like trying to achieve something
No, here's my
physically.
answer. This is the answer. When you think you're not doing anything, and so you decide you'll just tune into an episode of Law and Order, just because, and then it ends up being weirdly gripping, and there's some Broadway pay-a-day actor who does all kinds of shit, like a Jeffrey Wright, right? Who's just playing a character. Who's just there for the paycheck. Only he's so good that nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters.
And then he's there and it's awful and you can't stop watching. And so then terrible things happen and all you want is for them to go well. But because he's not white, he's the bad guy. So then you watch him be the bad guy and then eventually he dies because either he gets put into prison and you can assume he dies, or he gets murdered in prison because that's what happens to people who aren't white, or I don't know, the world is a vampire, as William Corgan said. So terrible things happen. So that is where I say, which is basically a 10 if it's it's 11 if it's a 1 out of 10. If you haven't watched yet, I'm not sure why you're listening.
Fair enough. Are
here's
you
the
a
thing.
fucking
No,
pervert?
here's what I say. If you listen to the podcast and are planning on watching season 2 and have not read the books and
Have not watched season 1?
no, even if you have, if your ideal situation is you listen to us after you've watched season 2, then I'm not sure if you've watched like through 212, why the fuck you're listening to us right now? Because we give you a buffer zone. So I'm not sure why. But you fucking shouldn't, because it's really good. They're both so good. Julie, Janine?
Yes.
Good.
God, they're good. They're so good. And Sophie Skelton, who plays Brianna, is so good. And who plays Roger, is so good. They're really good.
It's a great episode.
Here's the thing. Look, if you're not already watching Outlander by now, I'm sorry. If you have just started, welcome, because this show is amazing.
Welcome.
If you are halfway through, if you're just watching the first season, you really shouldn't be listening to this right now. You should wait. But really, this show is amazing. And I say that as somebody who has a very strict regard for caring about bullshit. and this show is obviously a romantic fantasy, but it is so real in so many regards.
So here's a thing I want to know. So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to record an episode that's about season 2 as a whole. And what I want to know is if there's one episode in season 2 that Janine should watch. What episode is it? And he'll watch it. Won't he?
He will.
He will.
So you pick. You all pick. You decide. What I mean, I have to assume. No, I won't even say what it is. But I think that we both assume one episode that it is.
And I feel like, and let us know on Twitter.
Twitter at Podlandercast or Facebook, which is also Podlandercast.
If you want to just add me directly to that on Twitter, I have a newly personal Twitter account.
Yeah.
It's Pagel, Pagel _ Aaron, AARON.
Or Julie Starby, at Julie Starby.
Oi.
Or at Allison Shue. But mostly maybe just do at Podlandercast. And you let us know what you think the one episode Janine should watch should be. And then he'll watch it, won't he?
He will. There's no won't, it will.
And then, because you know what? It really, it was a great episode. It would have been a great episode even if it was just me and Julie. Because it was great. Cheers.
Cheers.
I was glad I watched it with you. But there was something about watching it with Janine,
who'd never seen a single episode of the show.
But he knew
because
he cares, because he listens to us talking about it. So he knew who everybody was before he saw them. And it really, it was special. I thought it was special.
It was special.
I'm not getting as weepy as Julie talking about her husband.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and I want to apologize.
No!
I'm sorry.
Don't you dare apologize.
No, I'm sorry. Not sorry. Because you know what? I love my husband very much. Deuces. Deuces.
So, we love Janine. He's wonderful. Janine, say hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
He's the best.
So he watched with us. It was his very first time. And when he watched that Dougal fight, he couldn't fucking handle it. It was wonderful. So if you have or if you want a dude perspective, he'll be in Dudelander too. Whatever you want. Any questions that you have about the season as a whole, this is your time to ask them. We will answer them in the next episode. After that, we are having an episode where all we do is talk to dudes about what they think about Outlander, which I hope will be as fascinating to you as it will be to us. We're going to high five in front of her microphone. There we go.
I hope it will be as fascinating as we find it.
I have to say that Neil is really worried that he won't be as funny as he is when we talk about him.
Oh, you guys, he's the funniest.
I mean, he is really funny. Aaron I'm sorry, Jeannie just gave it a wrap it up gesture.
Hey,
all right.
It's been a wonder. This has been a big season.
Yeah.
It's been a big season.
All right.
So just to reiterate, next week, season 2 wrap up. Week after, dudes talk about season 2. And after that, we start with season 1. And I think we're going to do every other week, one episode. So it'll space it out. At some point, we might speed up because I think it's too long. If that makes you feel better about the Droughtlander, I don't think we could do every other week with season 1 and not run into season 3. So if that makes you feel better, that's good. So I'm Allison.
I'm Julie.
And
I'm Janine.
that's Janine. This is the official end of season 2, even though we're doing a wrap up. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
It's our first season. It's Outlander's second season. And I cannot tell you what a fucking jolly it gives us every time.
It's so filled with joy.
Every time you say something online, if you say something on Facebook, or you give us a review, or you do whatever, it just makes us feel like $1,000,000. Last night, Julie and I were playing D&D for too long. We were extremely tired.
Way too long. wrong.
And then we got a comment from L.E. Dixon. Hey, if that's you, I'm really sorry if it was wrong, about how there was not enough alcohol for you to make your way through Orange is the New Black and Outlander. And I agree. Julie, do you agree?
I guess. I
It
don't know
was
anything
great.
about Orange is the New Black.
And if people who are listening this season of Orange is the New Black ended in a really terrible way. If you end up in Chicago and you want to hang out, you let us know.
Fuck yeah, man.
We just hang out with Janine.
It's true.
That's all we do.
It's great. And you come hang out and it'll be great. And even if you're not going to, please tell your friends, because we would like this to be a real thing, because we think that we have like a really good market on
Irreverent commentary.
like smart but not awful.
Smart minus douchey.
Yeah, that's what I think. So once again, I'm Allison.
I'm Julie.
I'm Janine.
And we love you.
Bye.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.